Hello, 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 and welcome to the first episode of the Witness Protection Podcast. I'm your host, the biracial bad boy, comedian JC Heat. And I'm sure you're wondering, why does he call this the Witness Protection Podcast? Well, I'll tell you. Take a guy from Jersey, slap him somewhere in the Bible Belt with no good Italian food. It's like being in witness protection. Definitely. Can't lose. But you can't win at the same time. Well, basically, the Witness Protection Podcast is my weekly dose of news and entertainment. I'm going to tell you what's going on, give you my perspective, and pretty much show you what it's like to be a good fella. So starting off, I'm going to start off with some news here. It's not always the best news, but it's the news you deserve. And we're going to kick off some news. Now, first off, we have comedian Chris Rock. He's kicking up a stir. He appeared on HBO's Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. And he brought up a good point. He said, there's not a lot of blacks in Major League Baseball anymore. For some reason, the black community is not a fan of baseball. Now, I find that interesting. Now, Chris says, if you can afford Jordans for $300 a pair, you could afford a bat and a baseball mitt. And I do agree, I guess African Americans are disenchanted with baseball. Game's a little slow. It's not for everybody. It's definitely a game that, it's an acquired taste. I can understand. Now they say, Hispanics, we like it. I guess it's just in our blood. And Chris pretty much brought up the fact that the MLB is predominantly white now, which is not shocking. I mean, if black athletes want to go to the NBA or the NFL, it's their choice. You can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. So, that being said, moving on. Bill Cosby. The accusations against Bill Cosby keep piling up. Now, the cause is body count's probably up to 50 now. There's another 3 women saying in the early 80s, Cosmic either drank. And this is making news for some reason. I'm not sure. It's like all the stories are the same. Cosby, Cosby, Cosby. I used to respect you. You really fucked up, didn't you, brother? Fucked yourself over. Moving on. There's a lot of buzz about Hillary Clinton. A lot of stories about how she's getting her funding for a presidential bid. And it's interesting. A lot of people are saying, she's getting money from the Middle East and Russia. They're making all these bold claims that, isn't she going to need to do the favors when she gets in office? And I think it's funny, everybody takes campaign contributions. It's not a shocker. Now, foreign governments giving you money to campaign for president, it does sound a little weird to me. But at the same time, these are the Clintons we're talking about, not exactly the most, the people with the most scruples. Not generally the best people you're ever going to see and deal with, so what a shocker. Moving on, Robert Downey Jr. was doing an interview with English television, and they asked him some personal questions, and he just walked off, which is weird. He was doing press for Avengers 2, and the interviewer suddenly started talking about his drug-filled past and, what his political affiliations are, and Robert just walked off, basically saying, it's getting kind of Diane Sawyer-ish. Who are you to ask me these things? I'm here to promote a movie. I'm not here to talk about the 80s or my drug problems or how I stand politically, because in Hollywood, politics are a big deal. If you're not liberal, sometimes you get blacklisted. Sometimes people don't want to deal with you. So it's very tough to come out as a conservative if you are a conservative, because there's dues to pay. There always is, and there always will be. So this is our what the fuck moment. And the what the fuck moment of the week has to do with the Chinese government. The Chinese government is banning strippers at funerals. Now, I just learned this. Several media organizations are covering the story. And basically, the Chinese are banning it because in Chinese culture, the more successful you were and your life is really based on how many people show up to your funeral. So a lot of Chinese men are saying, what's the easiest way to get a lot of people to show up to my funeral? Hire an exotic dancer. Well, the government's seeing that, and they're shutting it down. Now, apparently, it's very trendy to have an exotic dancer perform at your funeral. Really? Been going to funerals over 20 years. I've never seen anything like that. I guess I need to start going to Chinese funerals. Cause us and our Latino funerals, we don't roll like that. Italian funerals. I mean, the Irish will have a wake too. Party. Italians might eat something, but I've never seen a stripper. That's very foreign. Our culture is just weird, weird, weird. And for the government to ban strippers at funerals, it just goes to show guys must be having parties at these things. And that was the what the fuck moment because it made you say, what the fuck?